The first takeaway I got from Game 1 of the NBA Finals is that the Heat have no chance to win this series. The Nuggets are too big, too deep, and too skilled to be stopped with a short-handed team that doesn't have enough size or athleticism to compete. But on further inspection, there could be a path for Miami, with some encouraging signs despite this score, but they still don't have any answer for Nikola Jokic. If you're a Heat fan, I've got some good news for you. Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, and Caleb Martin combined to shoot 2 for 23 from the field and 2 for 16 from three-point land. That simply won't happen again, especially when you see the quality of shots they were getting. The game plan for the Heat was a smart one: get Jokic involved in all the beautiful give-and-go action in the high post with Bam Adebayo. Strus gets right to the free throw line when Jokic drops way too far, and this is practically a layup for him. However, Jimmy did catch KCP completely asleep as he grabs the offensive rebound, finds some space on the left side, and hits the little 15-footer before Jokic can get a hand up. Here's Butler matchup hunting like he did versus the Celtics. While he might have a little size against KCP, he's not the weakest link in the Denver defense, as he is able to keep Jimmy from the basket. But watch Murray on the weak side. He's guarding Strus in the corner, but then has no idea Strus cut all the way to the other side of the floor. Good closeout by Gordon to cover, but this is as wide open as he's going to get in this series, and everything looks good on release, but he just leaves it several inches short. Again, they bring Jokic up as a defender of the second ball screener, and KCP properly rotates as the weak side corner to Bam, rolling hard. Just an excellent pass right on the money from Vincent, and this should have been Porter Jr. Xing out to the corner for the contest. And the Nuggets continue to dodge bullets. Jokic knows the play way in advance, telling Porter Jr. to be ready for the pin down from Bam, and while he gets around it okay, he's then forced to switch onto the ball. And while I'll admit MPJ is a lot better defensively these days, it's still a good mismatch to hunt for Butler. The quick pass to the corner catches Gordon in the air. The mistake was two defenders rotate to the ball here. Had Murray stayed home on the left side, he'd still have been there in the left corner. But instead, Strus is wide open but sprays this shot several inches too long and to the right. The irony about these two teams is that they both run a lot of similar actions. This backscreen into handoff is a staple of the Nuggets offense, and here Martin uses it to get going downhill versus the Jokic drop. But you can see how much drift he has going forward, worried about the contest from behind, that the shot ends up long and off the back rim. Butler was strangely passive in this game, taking only 14 shots. But as he attacks Jokic to the baseline, he has a moment here when he could have delivered the pass to an open three, but he takes an extra step and a hop before getting in Martin's way. On the reset, Jimmy is able to get into the middle of the paint and lure help one pass away off of Strus. This is one of the best looks he'll get all series long, and it looks like he added extra arc to get it off, and it misses long. I really like this option out of Horns as Strus sets the ball screen before cutting off of the Bam flare screen. This forces Jokic to get over there quickly. Another wide open shot goes halfway through the hoop and would have been huge for the Heat had it gone in. Targeting Jokic is great in the high pick and roll. I'd like to see Jimmy attack this matchup, maybe draw a foul or two, but he does catch Murray sleeping off of Martin in the corner. Yet another good corner look that clanks off the rim. Again, they attack Jokic in the pick and roll. Unclear why Jimmy won't just shoot this wide open mid-range, but watch how Max Strus's cut makes Gordon get both feet in the paint, opening up a long closeout that Martin can attack. Again, the Nuggets screw up their rotations with two players rotating to the ball. Jimmy plays hot potato with it instead of going up strong, and yet they still get the wide open Strus corner three, and he's short. And I don't want to overlook the impact of this play. Despite Vincent drawing two defenders and kicking it to an open Strus, the fact that Gordon not only closed out but blocked it out of his hand sends all sorts of psychologically damning messages to the Heat's outside shooters. I imagine they'll get more comfortable in Game 2, make some more shots, and fill up the box score a lot better. And if you want the opportunity to win some money on all that production, then you have to head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and check out Pick'em, where you can choose 2 to 5 players, then decide on the over-under for specific stats. It's super easy to set up, and you can win up to 20 times your initial entry fee. If you think Caleb Martin is going to light it up in Game 2, then get in the action. But it doesn't stop there. You can make it a rival and add players from different teams to make it even more interesting. They've also got drafts where you can compete against me. You think you got what it takes? If you click on the link below and use my promo code BBALL, you'll get a deposit match of up to $100. So if you want a chance to get up to 20 times your money or beat me in a draft, you've got to check out Underdog Fantasy. Use my code BBALL, get up to $100 in matching deposits, then you'll have a chance to win money, but don't get too excited just yet if you're a Heat fan. It's time to look at the advantages the Nuggets have that just won't go away after Game 1. First off, the Heat have no one to guard Aaron Gordon. Well, scratch that. They do, but he's Bam Adebayo, and I'd say he's already got his hands full. Of course, the Nuggets want to test Bam out early on Jokic, and I love that he fronts the post to make it harder to make that pass. But the Nuggets are well prepared as they basically turn this into a ball screen for Gordon, who does get stripped, but Jimmy isn't nearly strong enough to keep him from the basket. It's way too easy for Gordon to step up screen and force a switch here. While I like how Vincent fronts the post, it leaves him vulnerable to a duck in with one of the best passers out top that we've ever seen, and Gordon crushes their soul. If Strus isn't going to hit these shots, watch for the Nuggets to take advantage in ways that just don't seem fair. Since Butler can't get back in time, Strus must stay with Gordon, who just backs him down into the paint. Bam is the guy who could and should be helping, but he doesn't want to leave Jokic, so here we are. There are going to be several possessions a game where Gordon can release early, since Jokic has such a height advantage for the rebound, and that means guys like Strus and Martin are going to have to pick him up. The Nuggets won't waste any time once they get organized identifying these mismatches, and the only strange thing is that again, the Heat defense won't help poor little Caleb, who has no chance in a wrestling match in the restricted area. After the Strus wide open miss we showed, notice how easy it is for Gordon to simply sprint down the court while Murray pushes the ball at 70% speed. The Heat have no choice but for Gabe Vincent to pick up Gordon. It doesn't take long for the Nuggets to get it to him down low, but why is no one coming to help the mouse in the house? I really like how the Nuggets have so many different players that can bring the ball up to start the offense. Aside from Jokic, Murray, and Bruce Brown, you'll see Gordon bring it up and get everyone organized. The problem is, Martin is guarding him and Butler is pointing and yelling, I think to make sure Martin stays on Gordon, but now watch this. Martin just drifts away from the ball while Strus comes over and tells Jimmy to pick up Murray. This lets Gordon get right to the rim for a beautiful off-foot lefty Euro step off the glass. The real issue here is that the Nuggets just don't have anyone big enough to guard Gordon. Even if Strus or Martin had realized that Vincent had to pick him up in transition, it wouldn't have mattered if they switched with him. While it took a while for the Nuggets to notice it, check the gorgeous bounce pass from Jokic where only Gordon could catch it. And the lack of help down there was astonishing all first half long. The game pretty much ended towards the end of the third when the Nuggets went on a 10-0 run. I don't think they can get away with Lowry guarding MPJ, since he can come off this pin down and shoot right over him as if he wasn't there. I think you've got to put Robinson on him and let Lowry chase Bruce Brown. In an effort to contain the attack, the Heat went with some soft coverage, and it works nicely to allow Zeller to jump back to Jokic before he can catch it. However, the Nuggets offense continually flows into hard-to-guard actions. This high post split gets Brown open on the flare and then immediately into an empty corner inside ball screen, allowing Brown to shoot his patented 2-foot floater. Jokic needs to push the ball quick since it causes so much mayhem. Highsmith throws his hands up thinking no one is picking up the ball handling big man, despite Zeller being right there. This means Jimmy has two players to deal with on the left side, and you can see how the long closeout gives up the wide open three, but instead Jokic attacks to earn 2 points off of free throws. There are just too many defenders for Jokic to choose from in terms of forcing switches for mismatches. First, Butler has to switch onto him, then he becomes the ball screener, so Jimmy has to defend in a completely unfamiliar position, leading to another Brown floater. Now, the Heat had a 10-0 run of their own in the fourth, with the zone getting stops. But let's dig a little deeper. Here's a 1-3-1 alignment to try and take away the high post entry, but Highsmith points to the ball thinking Vincent is going to close out to the top and he'll take his place. But Highsmith doesn't sprint back to the free throw line, allowing Jokic to get a catch on the dotted line. While he misses this shot, it had absolutely nothing to do with the defense. There is a lot the Heat can squeeze out of bringing Jokic up to defend ball screens. Robinson had a sliver of daylight, but when they again flow into a Jokic-involved pick and roll, it's Murray who gets caught ball watching and out of position off the corner shooter. Here's the zone again, with the big man handling it so much out top, it allows Murray to sneak in behind the guards for an easy pass. I mean, this is the easiest shot Murray will get, and it rolls off the rim. In order to prevent the shot from Robinson off the screen when Jokic won't step up, Murray has to help one pass away, so watch for the Heat to take advantage. However, terrific defense to cover up the get action, primarily because Green doesn't get stuck getting around Bam. Again, they catch Jokic not stepping up at all, and Lowry nails this wide open three. This was the only possession of zone that really had a negative effect on the Nuggets' offense, primarily because they ignored the best part of the attack. When Jokic set the screen behind Vincent, there was an opening here to get it to him, but now the clock is running down. Jeff Green is trying to be a dribble drive artist on a weird angle, and Jokic still gets 2 feet into the paint and just barely misses this 14-footer. Watch for the Heat to run plenty of basic high pick and roll with Jokic, and their ball handlers going to their left since it's an easier shot for righties, as Jokic once again doesn't step up or put a hand up on this practice shot for Lowry. And finally, the Nuggets put it together against the zone. Jokic doesn't have to be anywhere near the elbow either. Lowry is a foot shorter, Highsmith is 6 inches shorter, so their pressure has little effect. And while I had said setting the inside ball screen on the guard in the 2-3 zone isn't effective based on how poorly the Celtics executed it, when you can release it to the dotted line with a passer like this, you're going to get a lot of easy shots, as indicated by their 1.05 points per possession against it and high-quality shots. In the end, we know the Heat are tough, don't give up, are well prepared, and execute their game plan almost flawlessly. I'm sure they'll put it together for at least one game and get a win. But unless they can conjure up a player the size of Aaron Gordon to throw out there, I fear this series won't make it to 6 games.